Close your eyes for just a second. I want you to imagine the Earth from space. We've all got this ingrained image of a glowing, victorious planet, right? We just assume that as our human population grows, our cities expand, and the Earth shines brighter and brighter into the cosmic void. It's supposed to be this endless march of progress. But today, using nearly a decade of unprecedented data from NASA, we're going to completely shatter that illusion. Because the truth is, we aren't glowing. We are flickering. And the reason why is honestly going to send a chill right down your spine.
So you have to ask yourself, is the Earth actually getting brighter? NASA researchers originally expected a pretty simple yes. They anticipated this steady, gradual increase in artificial light, basically a highly predictable map of human expansion. But when massive streams of low-light satellite imagery finally poured into their servers, the data didn't show a smooth progression at all. It showed what looked like a literal glitch in our global matrix.
That whole assumption of a gradual increase, it was completely dead wrong. 10 years of intense observation shattered the illusion of an endlessly brightening world. Instead, it uncovered a much darker, highly nuanced, and incredibly volatile reality. What they found was a planetary grid in constant distress. Literally, a world where darkness is aggressively fighting back against the light.
To really grasp this chilling reality, we need to talk about the massive surveillance effort that actually captured it. Enter Project Black Marble. This was a high-tech NASA tracking program that used highly specialized sensors on 3 orbiting satellites. From 2014 all the way to 2022, they basically acted as humanity's night watchmen. They were up there silently monitoring our planet's volatile footprint from the shadows of space, just looking for the glow of human survival. Now, at first, the sensors caught exactly what you'd expect. Boom, a massive surge. Over 9 years of monitoring, global light radiance experienced a staggering 34% increase. Huge swaths of the planet were just lighting up. Massive energy consumption, raw human expansion carving its way right into the night. But don't look away, because this is exactly where the story takes a really dark turn. Right alongside that growth, an aggressive, sweeping darkness was literally clawing it back. An 18% dimming aggressively offset that massive growth. 18%. That is not just some rounding error, folks. That is a massive fraction of human infrastructure just going dark, proving that our globe isn't just humming with this warm, steady glow. It is violently flickering, systems powering up and systems failing. NASA's own description of this data is genuinely haunting. They describe a world flickering with industrial booms and busts, construction and blackouts, and this brilliantly illustrates something terrifying. It turns out our grand technological civilization is way less of an invincible machine and more like a flickering fluorescent bulb in a cheap motel. We are looking at a hyper-connected infrastructure wildly swaying between rapid booms and sudden, devastating blackouts.
Let's bring this satellite data down to a ground-level reality for a second, because the divide is incredibly stark. Take the U.S. West Coast. Satellites captured a booming, brightening landscape there, which is the direct result of massive ermine sprawl. But over on the East Coast, a deliberate, widespread dimming. The lights are fading. Now, NASA attributes this fading grid to new energy-efficient policies and massive economic restructuring. Entire regional economies are shifting, and they are taking the lights down with them.
Let's move to the global stage and see how this builds, because the contrast gets even more extreme. Across China and northern India, the nights are aggressively brightening as rapid urban development expands the grid at breakneck speed. But in stark contrast to that, a dark wave is sweeping straight across Europe, a very distinct pattern of dimming. And this isn't just conservation anymore. It is the literal visual footprint of a continent in crisis.
If you trace the timeline of the Black Marble project, the suspense really peaks right at the very end. Data collection began back in 2014, basically capturing the natural ebb and flow of our grids. But then, 2022 hits, and the satellites capture a chilling anomaly. A sudden, sharp drop-off in artificial light cascading across Europe. Millions of lights simply vanishing from the map in a matter of months.
And the data doesn't lie. What the satellites captured were geopolitical shockwaves happening in real time. This sudden European dimming wasn't a satellite glitch. It was the stark, terrifying reality of the 2022 energy crisis. Triggered directly by the war in Ukraine, the regional supply was thrown into total chaos. It shows us how conflicts fought on the ground visibly plunge massive portions of our modern world back into the dark, even when viewed from hundreds of miles above the Earth.
So what does this all mean? Well, when you break down the numbers, the extreme volatility of human existence becomes terrifyingly clear.
You've got a 34% brightening surge fighting directly against an 18% dimming offset. That means nearly half the globe's lighting was in a state of rapid, volatile change. Sudden blackouts, economic restructuring, rapid construction, our nighttime activity is wildly unstable. It's a dynamic system that is constantly rewriting itself in the dark.
The researchers publishing in the Nature journal really hit the nail on the head here. They concluded that the human light footprint is not a universally expanding entity, but a dynamic system characterized by the pervasive coexistence of brightening and dimming. So the crucial point is that our technological expansion is absolutely not an invincible march of progress. It is a vulnerable, fragile system existing in a very tense standoff with the dark.
At the end of the day, we are a civilization entirely reliant on an electric pulse. A pulse we now know for a fact is flickering under the weight of economics, politics, and war. Every single night, those satellites are up there, watching. And as our modern infrastructure strains and sways, it leaves us with one lingering, terrifying question. As our world flickers, what will the darkness reveal next?